welcome to another episode of This Podcast Fits Your Macros. We are back after a long summer break. My apologies. It's me, Coach Kayleen, and across the way, we have the Gains Master, Coach Ryan Milton. Ryan, how have you been?
I've been doing absolutely fantastic in every way possible for the longest ways possible over these past whatever time that we've been on break. But yeah, how are you doing? You doing good?
Oh yeah, well, I just sent my kid to school yesterday, so I'm doing 1,000 times better. Bless her. I love my child, but my work from home parents, you know how rough summers and breaks can be, and thank God we are modified year-round school, so we only have 8 weeks, I think, of summer. Is that right? Is it 6? Anyway, she's back in school, and I've got my mojo going again, so I am doing so well.
Boom. There you go. That's good. Yeah. And I mean, it's been, so summer's over for everybody now, huh? Is that how it works or just you?
Oh, no. It's just us freaks in Arizona. We have a really early school schedule. So we get out in May and we start late July. I don't know when this is going to come out, but over the next couple weeks, most of the schools here start in August, but I think for the most of the U.S., it's more like September. So a lot of y'all still have a lot of summer left. So cheers to you. Sorry if you're working at home with your child, though.
A lot of summer. And today, today's topic is, it's relevant for summer, but also pretty much every other fucking day of life, right? So what are we going to talk about? Just tell people a little sneak peek so they don't click out by now.
I know, right? We're just blabbering about summer. So these, I like to say, the macros mistakes that we made so you don't have to make. And you're probably making a few of these, I would imagine. I mean, shit, I've been doing this for how long? And there's one on here that within this last year, I was like, fuck, dude, I can't believe I've been doing this the whole time. And this is drastically going to change. So if you are just starting out, this is going to be highly beneficial. If you've been doing this for years, it's still going to be highly beneficial because, I mean, shit, like I said, it happened to be like this past year that I was like, oh, goddamn, that sucks. But okay, here we are. I'm fixing it from here and we're good to go.
Yeah. And let me tell you guys, if the macro queen is fucking something up, you better believe you're probably fucking up a lot of things. So you definitely want to stay. And I think we got 6 of these we're going to talk about today. So that'll be good. Make sure you stick to the end because we got, some of the best pieces at the end for you as usual. And don't try to skip because you'll miss some of the other great pieces. But first, is it the return of Is It Worth the Macros, or you've been doing it?
We've been doing it, yeah. I have been bad about posting them because usually what I do is I just do a shit ton of them in one sitting, if you haven't noticed on my TikTok. And a few weeks ago, actually, I had one of my clients fly in and I had one of my clients competing. So the 3 of us taste tested 4 or 5 things. And this is the last one that we taste tested that I did not even put on the TikTok yet. So this is exclusive. Although I'll probably end up doing it today or tomorrow. We'll see. But Ryan, you know Arizona iced tea, right? The green can.
Yeah. Arizona iced tea, yes.
They made an ice cream of it. So I was like,
what?
I gotta try it. Yeah, and I'm not a huge Arizona iced tea person. I like green tea and I like iced tea, but I don't know, I just had to try it. It sounded very intriguing. You can get it at Walmart, although it says it's sold out here. But it's by Van Leeuwen, which, if you will remember, also did the ranch dressing ice cream that I taste tested. I don't know if you saw that or if I talked about that. That one was gross.
We have not talked about that yet, but that's something you guys should check out. That's posted, right? So it's on the TikTok.
It is on the TikTok. If you want to see me, oh shit, I just lost the AirPod. If you want to see me taste test ranch dressing ice cream, which, a little background, I fucking love ranch dressing, but definitely in its natural form and not ice cream. But let's talk about the nutrition of this Van Leeuwen Arizona iced tea ice cream. The thing about Van Leeuwen is that they actually, I think their thing is that they use a shit ton of eggs in their stuff. But because of that, it makes it hella fatty, man. Okay, so our serving size is 2/3 of a cup or 108 grams. That's going to cost you 270 calories, 16 grams of fat, 28 grams of carbs, 4 grams of protein, though, because of all those eggs. Now, if you ate the whole container, which it's a little one, it's one of those little pints, it would be 720 calories, 42 grams of fat, 75 grams of carbs, but 12 whole grams of protein. So that's like pretty much a protein shake there. But taste-wise, it tasted weird. I'm not gonna lie. It's more of that like matcha taste, which I'm not super into. I know a lot of people are like love matcha stuff, but I'm okay with it. So it was okay. I really liked it. Had like little flakes of honey in it, which were really good. But for those macros, for that amount of fat, I'm gonna pass and not try to fit that into my macros. In fact, I actually ended up giving that again to my sister, which I do with all my macro stuff that I don't want to fit into my macros.
Just here you go. Here's your macros instead. Okay, so what's the rating? 1 to 10. Come on.
I don't know what I actually rated. I would say a 6. If you're into matcha stuff, you'd probably be more like 7, 8, 9 territory. But since I only dabble in that stuff, I'd give it a 6.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad that I looked this up while we're talking about this, because literally when you first said it, I was thinking you were saying Arizona iced tea made a tea version of ice cream. Like it was an ice cream flavored tea. And I was like, what the hell? Okay, so they made an actual ice cream out of the tea. I got it now. I was like, damn, that's like Bang trying to make those fucking, like they made like a blueberry muffin like Bang or something before and weird shit like that. So I was like, okay.
Good. I would drink.
I'm glad that didn't happen.
Ice cream flavored tea. I would do that. I would try that. So here's to whoever makes tea.
You need to start patenting that. Yeah, you should start working on that.
I was a scientist back in my days. Okay. Should we get into this shit?
Well, maybe. First, make sure you subscribe. You're following. You're paying attention, people. You're checking out Kayleen's TikTok. And you're giving us suggestions for more things. I try to give Kayleen weird ones, but she refuses. So she pretty much sticks to the treats that are weird, but will still be treats. So if you got treats that are weird that are still treats, throw them in the mix.
Hashtag sugar horror. You know, I like the sweet stuff. All the savory stuff, I could leave.
You forget it. It's gone.
Yeah.
And with that, then we lead into our topic.
Yes. So our macro mistakes you made so you won't make them. Well, I don't know if you made any. You're perfect. So, but you know, I'm a fallen angel. Sometimes I need some help along the way. And these are things that I've done personally along the way that like if I didn't do, maybe I would get my results a little faster, although I still always get my results. These things might be holding you back. So let's just get right into it. This is one that I see a lot, and that is not accounting for sauces, marinades, butters, whatever topping you are putting on your food. That shit counts, okay? So you need to track that. One of the great things about, I think, our app that's really nice is that the food tracker in our app, I thought it was really annoying at first, but it's actually become to help me with my clients, is that actually will prompt you to take a picture of your meal. So that's really cool because if someone's like, I don't understand why I'm not losing weight. And then I see like they have this turkey patty, but there's like 20 pounds of ketchup on it. And I don't see ketchup on their log. It's like, that's about, 15 grams of carbs right there. So I don't know. Do you have a lot of clients that end up doing that too?
Yeah, I mean, over the years for sure. And I mean, there's certain stuff, especially in summertime, that is fucking dense. Like, okay, so like if you're making like teriyaki ribs or something, or, teriyaki chicken or any of that shit, and you get those pre-made marinades, I'm actually pulling one up. Even though you guys can't see me, I'm pulling one up right now because we just have to talk about this, because people will literally be like, oh, no, it's just chicken. I'm at a barbecue. It's chicken breast. It's cool. But if that shit was marinated, like, okay, so one of the most popular ones I know about, I've seen it all the time. I've used it myself. It's like that soy very, very teriyaki. You've probably seen that. It's like the island marinades. I don't know. Anybody who's ever gone in the aisle, it's like one of the most popular teriyaki marinades. So this macros on this motherfucker right here is 1 fat, 8 carbs, 1 protein, 600 milligrams of sodium for guess how much, Kayleen, if you had to guess?
I would guess 2 tablespoons.
It is 1 tablespoon.
God damn it.
It is 1 tablespoon. Okay, but like, does anybody know how much 1 tablespoon is? Because like, if you take something you're actually marinating meat, you're using the entire bottle of this shit pretty much to actually do that, so it can sit and you can marinate and then you cook it. So let's just do that for fun real quick. That's 8 carbs. There's 64 servings in a bottle, ladies and gents. Okay, that equates to 520 milligrams of carbs for just, that you're not even accounting for. And obviously you're not going to get it all. I mean, some of it's going to be left over, burned off, not on the thing, but it's not a piece of chicken. That's the point, right? So that's one of the things. And another one I see a lot, barbecue sauce. I don't even want to talk about barbecue sauce. It's just disgusting. But, I do see stuff like that. And Kayleen takes always, the more, because Kayleen's very precise with the sauces she uses. She assumes people are using like ketchup and mustard maybe, and, those things are okay. I see the dark side of the moon with the shit people use. And I'm sure you have too. Like, what's the worst sauce you ever saw someone use or marinade?
Well, for me, I think people who cook with oil and don't register that at all. It's like, holy shit, oil's so fucking fatty. And like, they're like frying up all this shit in oil, but it's like, oh no, it's just a chicken breast. And it's like, no, it's chicken breast with a shit ton of oil on it. And that's going to count.
Yeah, exactly. And that's crazy. I mean, like the oil in its own self, that stacks up and that's tons of fat. This thing's tons of carbs, but also calories. Check this out real quick. I'm just stuck on this because it's just crazy, people. If you're doing any of this, don't do this to yourself, okay? So it's 40 calories per serving times 64, which is the bottle. And I mean, even if most people, if you're making like chicken for people, you're going to use around the bottle's amount to marinate. That's 2,500 calories. That's like 7 days of Kayleen's food, people. 7 days of her macros added up into one go of a barbecue. Okay, no, it's a joke, but
no,
literally,
but
this
seriously,
stuff does add up.
Think about the barbecues that we go to over the summer. It's like, oh well, it's just pulled pork, and then you put like 5 pounds of barbecue sauce on top of there. It's not just pulled pork anymore. It's pulled pork and a side of carbs.
Yeah, tons of carbs. And also like salads, right? People do that shit with salads all the time using dressings. Like a lot of people I know, there was a whole thing for a long time, and fast food joints still try to do this where they're like, hey, we have salads. And, it's like, oh, it's a salad. I can eat that. It's fine. No problem. Low macros. It's fucking lettuce. And then you go there and here's the lettuce. It's 60 calories worth of lettuce or something. And then here's 1,200 calories worth of the sauce and whatever butter, cream, all this weird stuff they put in there.
Croutons, 2,000 packs of croutons on there to make it delicious. Yeah, that'll catch up with you too.
Yeah, it just doesn't, and a lot of people look at that and they don't think about it, or they just start using sauce. And I mean, if you're doing that, you're doing yourself a problem, okay? If you're not seeing results, it could be that. Because I mean, you stack, because when we're talking about dieting, by the way, people, like, the way that we coach and the way you should try to diet is not to crash diet and lose 5 pounds in a week. Something like that. It should be a very moderate, slow loss, 1 pound, maybe even 2 a week on an aggressive side. That's a very small reduction in calories from your maintenance calories, right? That's like a 500 per day reduction in calories will equate to about a pound, fat loss at the end of the week, things like that. So if you're not tracking your sauces and you're not tracking your marinades, you're not tracking your ketchups or whatever that you could be loading these calories in, you could easily be cutting that like in half or nixing it all the way without even knowing it and being like, wow, I'm working so hard. It's not working. The program's not working. My coach sucks. No, you know what? Your fucking marinade sucks. Your sauces suck.
Yeah. I mean, you could definitely do some lower carb options for sure. What is it? Is it Lowry's? No. What's that guy's name? Shit.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
G-Hughes. How did I forget that?
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, low carb there. Some of the more paleo barbecue sauces are super low carb. Actually, I was surprised I'd gotten a few of them. And it was like, I got this barbecue sauce from there and it was only like 3 grams of carbs or something like that because they don't put sugar and all that shit in there. Now, did it taste great? No, it didn't taste great, but there's only 3 grams of carbs. I was like, oh, is this barbecue sauce? Okay. But it got the job
done. It will be
done,
barbecue sauce if you want it to be.
I just closed my eyes and pretended it was. No, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't a sugary barbecue sauce because, of course, there's no of the artificial sugars in there, too, because it's paleo and it's all clean and shit. But anyway, we digress. So, yeah, track fucking everything, okay? What you're cooking in, what you're putting on, what you're topping everything with, they all count. It's not just the main part of your meal. A lot of those little things will add up to, like, sometimes more than what your meal was.
Yeah, and you can actually even be, gaining body fat from sauces and things like that. So definitely track it. And if you can't, if you're having a hard time with progress, start looking at that shit real close. And there's a whole rabbit hole we could go down deeper, but not for today because we're still on number 1. All right, let's go.
Yes, we got timelines
number
here.
2,
all right.
Kayleen, what is number 2?
This is actually the one that tripped me up this year, is using the wrong entry in MyFitnessPal, which is so silly because I was using a grilled chicken entry. And it was like, I looked at the protein, I was like, oh, that about checks out. But the fats were way different. Like it was way lower fats. And I didn't realize this until like I was making up, helping someone with their macros. And I was like, oh shit, like we're getting vastly different things, her and I. And then I realized like, oh my gosh, like the normal chicken entries have like way more fat than what I was entering in. So like, by the way, Ryan, like the last like 6 years of prep, I've been probably eating more fats than I've been logging with my chicken because I've used the same like, grilled chicken entree for like fucking ever. So, I've updated to the new one. I'm like, oh, this is kind of sad for me, but it happens with so many different things. But like with chicken, I open a chicken, it's all raw and gross. I throw the wrapper away, I cook it. So I don't really like scan it because I'm like, ew, I got fucking chicken hands and shit. So I just like trusted MyFitnessPal. And MyFitnessPal was like, I'm going to fuck you over. Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I don't want to touch my phone right now. So, but this happens with so many different things. Even if you, hold on, let me make sure I don't have this later. Okay. So even if you like scan something, you want to do the discount double check and make sure that unless you threw it away because you have chicken hands, that the amount that is on MyFitnessPal matches what is on the label, because it's not always the case, especially when it comes to carbs, because some people will deduct the fibers from the carbs and just have it go in like that, do the net carb thing. And that's not what we're tracking here at Team Flex. So if you're like, oh, well, this only had 5 grams of carbs, when really it had like 25 and it had like 20 grams of fiber because they shoved that shit in there to try to make it look better on the label, then you're going to be off your game.
100%. I mean, this is news to me, Kayleen, that you were using the wrong tracking, because this is the first time I've heard this, people. She has not disclosed this information to me. So after this,
feels like confession.
You're going to have a whole, I'm adding a shitload of extra reps to all your workouts this week now, just as punishment for this. Like, you're going to have the horrid hundreds for the rest of the week. But, okay. Yeah, no, I mean, that does happen. See, like I told you guys, if it happens to the macro queen, you better expect it could happen to you. And that is true with MyFitnessPal. A lot of people don't get this, but pretty much all food libraries, for any tracking apps are populated by people that use these apps. So there is a lot of differences in what's out there. And I mean, people can take the label and scan it and change it and do it wrong. And, they can see this and think that, or some bro science trainer at the gym is like, hey, if you just take all the skin off the chicken, there's 0 fat in the chicken. Don't worry about the chicken. Just it's 400 grams of protein this time. Put it in there, buddy.
That's the one I logged. Just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Weeks worth of protein in one chicken breast. It's amazing. It's a miracle chicken. But like literally that's what happens. And so you can easily get in there. And I mean, if you don't believe it, if you guys are listening, you're just sitting somewhere, go into MyFitnessPal right now, if you have it, or whatever app you're tracking in, and put in like chicken generic, and you'll see 400 different results, and they all have different macros. So it's even down to brands. Like you might just think, okay, chicken breast is a chicken breast. No. The way that these things are, I don't know what the fuck they do to them to make them all different, but they're different, right? Like they're doing something, they're adding things, they're taking away things. They're all different. There is no crossover between like, oh, it's a frozen chicken strip versus it's a frozen chicken strip. I mean, they're going to be different macros more than likely. So you want to make sure you're really paying attention to that.
The pre-marinated ones, like if you are going for convenience and you get a big bag of the pre-marinated frozen chicken things, again, that's where they add it in to the label. So if you scan it and you double check, that should be accurate. But if you're using this marinated type and you're not even scanning and you're just like, oh, it's 6 ounces of chicken, and you get the one that I use that had like 3 grams of fat per like 6 ounces, and that's not going to be right.
Yep, exactly. And so that, again, that can add more calories, because whatever the fat gap was, I don't know if you know off the top of your head, but the gap, from 3 to what it could be 6, it could be whatever, something like that. That's going to be another amount of unaccounted for calories. And just like I talked about in point 1, where we're talking about, reduction of calories or, deficits, whatever, being small to lose fat, that's going to be the big difference. Like, adding just a few more calories here and there can be the difference of if you lose a pound that week or you don't.
And especially with fats too, because fats have a lot of calories per gram. So like 1 or 2 grams of fat difference versus 1 or 2 grams of protein or carbs difference. You're really, I just want to show you, just because I found it real quick. The 6 ounces of grilled chicken that I was using for the longest time was coming up for 150 calories, 1.5 grams of carbs, 3 grams of fat, and 33 grams of protein. And now the one that I use is 0 grams of carbs, 5.4 grams of fat, and 52 grams of protein. So big differences
so
there.
About almost double the fat even, which is going to be another, amount of calories that are not accounted for. So it's all something you want to pay attention to, and make sure that if you're using your staple foods, like this is why, Costco always comes up, but like if you like going to Costco, it's a great place to get your shit right once and just keep going to Costco and getting the same shit. Like people try different brands and different whatever, and I get the variety, but if you're going to try a different brand, you got to do a little bit of homework again. You got to start from the beginning and make sure, okay, is all this correct? Am I right here? Or like if you like Kirkland fucking brand, and we're not sponsored, I wish we were, god damn it, but we're not. But if you like Kirkland brand, I mean, it's going to be the same every time. So, you could just go, all right, I'll do the homework once. This looks good. I got my entries, save. Boom. All right, now I get chicken this every time. I eat the same fucking, whatever. So
yeah,
it comes down to what effort you want to put in at the end of the day, but it can be something that can derail you.
All righty. I think we got that one down. Okay. So the next one I have is kind of like a 2-parter. One is not looking at the serving sizes of certain items, which we kind of talked about with the barbecue sauce. You say, oh, that's not too bad. It's only 8 grams of carbs. Yeah, for this much barbecue sauce. But the other thing is trusting that a serving size is a piece. So many times, especially with little snacks and stuff, like clusters of, different trail mix, whatever, it's going to give you just a generic, like, 56 grams is 1 piece. 56 grams or 1 piece or 3 pieces or whatever, but you pull 3 pieces out and it's more like 200 grams of whatever. So I hope that makes sense. Like when things are in pieces or grams in parentheses, weigh out the grams, because do not trust the pieces. Like, oh, you know what? Dried fruit is a good one. They'll be like, oh, like 3 pieces is, a serving size or whatever amount of grams. Well, those pieces of fucking dried fruit are all different sorts of sizes. You pick the 3 biggest ones and you're like, oh, I got my 3 pieces, I'm in. That's not going to get you to your goals. But yeah, and then so like just look at serving sizes before you do anything, because serving sizes will straight fuck you up. And that goes for breath mints, that goes for again, your condiments. Some of these condiments, the spray butter, we can talk about the serving size of a spray butter. I think we've discussed this before, but if you're just now tuning in, all these spray cooking things, whether it's like spray oil, spray butter, like literally the serving size is like 1/267th of a second or something like that is the serving size, because they try to get it so low so that they can register that it's like 0 calorie, when it's like, unless you're like Mr. Miyagi, you're not like doing that when you're cooking your foods, right? Like you are not doing 1/256th of a second to spray your food. You're doing like, so yeah. What do you have to say on that?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Yeah. So, I mean, the thing that comes up the most is obviously going to be that the food companies don't give a flying fuck what you're eating, people. They want you to eat, and they want you to eat more of it. They don't care about your damn goals. They don't care if you're trying to get lean for your life for first stage, or if you're trying to build muscle or do any damn thing else, or just be healthier. They don't give a shit. And there's a lot of marketing that might make you think they do and be like, yes, this is a healthy alternative, low fat, none of this, there's less carbs, it's keto. Fuck all the marketing, okay? Here's the thing, they don't care. So you know what happens is you go over there, and like Kayleen's saying, you could have it says like one piece, but it's this many grams, and then you actually weigh it and it's fucking 3 times that. They're like, yeah, that's right. Get fatter, because you know what? You're going to come back. You're going to want more, and then we'll sell you an extra lean product next time. So end of the day, you got to do your work. And the FDA doesn't really give a fuck either. They're not going to go check and weigh each cluster that goes through. And you got to think this is all being sorted and made by machines anyway. I mean, just imagine the variety. And anybody who's been eating the same type of food for any amount of time knows the variety that comes with anything that you eat often. I mean, you're going to get different amounts, different sizes. One bag of this might feel heavier than that bag. Why? They're the same fucking bag. You know, so at the end of the day, just do what Kayleen's saying, measure your shit if you care that much. And especially if you're like slow on progress. You know, like really this whole episode is another thing to be like, here's another road stop for you. Before you blame your coach, blame your program, or blame your damn self, why don't you blame the FDA? Why don't you blame?
Yes, let's do it. Fuck the FDA.
You know what I mean? Let's go boycott out in front with some picket signs. You need to weigh our fruit clusters better, motherfuckers.
We'll tell them.
Exactly. Because otherwise, you know, it's something you want to check when you're slowing down. That's what I'm saying. Basically, it sounds like you're saying weigh it anyway, which you should be doing if you're serious about your goals.
And that, I'll say to that, in addition, whenever you see something that's a measured amount, like a quarter cup or 2 teaspoons, fuck those measurements. Go for the grams, weigh it out, because you think, like, especially if we're talking about clusters, like the clustery granola type things, like you get a half cup of that, which first of all, granola sucks for macros. If you are dieting, it is not good for, or if you're lower carb, don't fucking eat granola because it's stupid for your macros. But anyway, I mean, people think it's a health food. That's a whole thing. But anyway, you get that big scoop, it's heaping over. Oh, well, that's 1 serving size. And then the difference between if you actually weigh out, and this goes for peanut butter, this goes for granola, any type of nut butter, anything that you measure in a cup, it is so different. In fact, I did a Instagram on this like so long ago. I should repost it because that was a good one. But showing the differences between like what you think a serving size is and what a serving size actually is. But yeah, very, very different. Weigh everything out. Food scales like $10 on Amazon. It converts different units. Just fucking buy it and just fucking weigh everything. Let it be a piece on your counter forever, like ours is. It's been through so much, but you will get the results that you want without having to blame anything else.
Yeah, you know what? Super glue that shit to your counter, people. Super glue.
Shit, yeah. Ooh.
If you want to do it, you're listening to this show, I'll comment it and I'll send you a tube of super glue so that you can super glue that shit to your counter and forever get better results. Okay, that's all I ask. I'll send you free super glue. I'll get an Ali fucking Baba. All right. Kayleen, add that to your list. Oh my
God. Okay, time. Let me add that. All right, let's see. Oh, well, actually, this one kind of goes with what we just talked about, which is
so it was kind of a two-parter.
Yeah. So this is trusting the nutrition labels on things. Let's just also mention while we're here that nutrition labels are allowed to have a 20% discrepancy versus what they actually are. Fuck the FDA, man. Like, they're really trying to saboteur us. So, you know, if you are at that roadblock, and if I have clients that are at this roadblock, I'll take a look at their food diaries. And if it is all process, you know, obviously we like to have more of an 80-20 split of, you know, non-processed versus processed, but, you know, life gets in the way. And sometimes for people just early starting on, they don't want to just eat fucking fruits and vegetables every day. And that's fine. Like, we want to teach them how to work these foods into their diets, but we also want them to be eating some fiber and some fruits and vegetables too. And of course, as you know, as you start eating more of these foods, you develop a palate for them, you actually like them. And then, you know, anyway, so these fruits and vegetables and meats and everything, they're like single ingredient. You can't really fuck around with that shit. But like these multi-ingredient nutrition labels, like there's so much malarkey happening in here. And if every single thing you're eating is processed and we're trusting this nutrition label, which has a 20% variance rate, then that's like how many different occasions in your day could you be eating 20% more than what you're logging? You know what I'm saying?
100%. And I mean, it's kind of goes back to fuck the FDA, but also like just in general, like, remember what I said earlier points, they don't care what they're doing. Like, you know what reminds me of this is Monster energy drinks, right? Or just energy drinks in general. A lot of those get to say that they're zero this, zero that. They did forever. And don't at me, Monster, but they did forever say there was like zero of anything in their stuff. And eventually now all the labels are different. I mean, now all the labels say, hey, actually there is carbs in here. They used to say no carbs, then no calories. Like, it's funny because I actually have one on my desk right now. This thing somehow says this. This proves a point, ladies and gents, okay? This says 10 calories per serving, 1 can. 0 fat and 300 milligrams of sodium, 6 carbs. Where 6 carbs, 10 calories, people. I'm not getting the math here. Kayleen, what's the math on a carb? How many calories per
4.
carb?
4
okay, so there's
gram,
4.
So.
There's 4, but this is 10 calories. See, if you just look at this, you're like 10 calories. This used to say 0, by the way. It used to say 0. And you know, a lot of people in the fitness industry drink energy drinks like it's fucking holy water, okay? So just another point to prove. You can't always trust those labels. You can't. And I mean, the food gets worse. Anything that's a diet food, it will trick you. Like there's that keto section of like, what's those things? You know, I've seen this before. They don't even put it with the rest of the food. It's like in its own little special dietary zone, like in the back of the store next to like stool softener and bunion pads and shit like that. Like it's all the way back there. And it's like got this, you know, it's the keto shit or whatever. It's like the keto treats, keto M&Ms. You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen this stuff?
Yeah, well, they need them by the stool softeners because you're not eating any fibers. They're going to be blocked up as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. But like it's back there. But, and it's like you look at the labels and they have nothing in them. Nothing in there somehow. It says they have 0 calories, but all these different – I'm like, it's all gimmicks, especially for the diet foods. You guys got to check your shit, you know, like all of it. Because it doesn't – it's almost worse because at least, you know, the main food companies that know they're feeding bullshit to people, they know. And they know people will buy it. Like you go look at Cheetos – I bet you the food label on a bag of Cheetos is accurate because like they don't give a fuck. They're like, you're buying Cheetos. You don't give a fuck. But like it's the fitness stuff.
Yeah, I've never seen a diet Cheetos come out. Never. Yeah. People aren't looking for that shit. They're not trying
to market to the diet culture people. They're marketing to fitness people at all if it's cheat day, but they're really not. They're saying, hey, Cheetos is, you know, breakfast, it's lunch, it's dinner for all of you normal people. Eat that. And I mean, the diet food is what will get you because it's supposed to make you think, wow, this is miraculously better. But after trying many of them myself, and I can imagine you have too, and many of you probably out there have, you find that it's never better. It's never better.
And like, here's the thing too, is like, they put so much shit in it, just so many gums and artificials and this and that. And it's like kind of like the fake meat dilemma. It's like, why even eat meat if there's gonna be like 90 ingredients in it? You might as well, or eat fake meat, you know, you might as well just go without, you know, versus, you know,
yeah, exactly,
popping like all this like fucking weird shit in there that we don't know what's gonna do to us in like, you know, who knows how many years. It's you know. So anyway, fuck the FDA. Can we get shirts made? Can we design some shirts?
Yeah, we should do that.
I feel like at this point we need it. Yes.
And if you're still here listening, make sure you sub. Thanks for listening. All right, what do we got next here?
Okay, so this is one I have been subject to in the past. Not so much anymore because I also started like pre-logging my day. Because, you know, working from home, I am very blessed to just prepare my meals whenever. I wasn't pre-logging my food because I'm like, oh, I'm just here all day. I can take the 5 minutes, blah, blah. But after a while, it's like I would forget in the moment to log something. And I'm like laying in bed at night and I'm just like, oh my God, I forgot to log that freaking 5 peanuts that I ate after lunch or something. And then it's like, okay, 5 peanuts. If it were anything else, if it was like 5 blueberries, that wouldn't be a big deal. But 5 peanuts, that's a pretty big deal. Or 5 cashews, that's like probably half serving size. So like, that's why always pre-logging your day is going to be the supreme way to do it. Is it annoying? Fucking yeah, it is kind of. It takes 5 minutes. It really isn't that annoying, but sometimes you just don't fucking want to do it. And I get it. But it is going to pre-logging 100% of the time is going to get you on track, because you have everything planned out, everything exactly as you're going to eat it. If you pile it together, that's even better. But again, I work from home, so I don't need to do that. I just look at what I logged. I say, I need this much of this much of this much of this. And then it's done deal. And then I'm not waking up in the middle of the night thinking I sabotaged my whole life because I forgot to log the thing that I forgot to input.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the thing is too with that is you lost sleep that night too, which that's terrible. You lost so many gains from 4 peanuts, right? It made you panic. You lost your sleep. You had to go track it. You might have hit the treadmill. Don't be that person, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, okay? Track your shit. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I've trained a fucking load of people over the years. And I would say the number one, if I had to give like one macro tip to people that have a hard time being consistent with macros, it would literally be this: track your shit in advance, like we're talking about. I mean, and it's because like what comes up with macros when people complain about them is that, I don't have time. I don't want to pull my phone out for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. I don't want to do all this. Then don't. Okay? Be a motherfucking adult. Realize that you set, this is the other thing. You set the goal for yourself, right? It's not like me and Kayleen or somebody else, or some other trainer out there or somebody went to you and said, you know what? I think you should lose weight. I think you should build muscle. I think you should do this. Here's what we're doing. That's not how this works. It doesn't really work that way. It's more like, hey, you probably decided, I feel like I'm a little fat, or maybe I'm a lot of fat. I want to lose some fat. Actually, I'm not as strong as I want to be. I want to build some muscle. I want to do this and that. Okay, well,
I just feel like shit,
Yeah, exactly. The wellness side. Maybe you feel like absolute shit. You wake up every day. It takes you 7 hours to even realize you're alive. You look like a slug slithering across the floor for most of the day. And now you're like, you know what? I got to figure this out. Well, you decided all those things. So don't bitch about sitting down for 5 minutes at the end of your day. Turn off the Netflix, okay? Put the Netflix away. Break your TV. Okay, break your fucking TV and then track your macros. Or don't break your TV and just track your macros. That's easier. And you still have your TV and it'll be there in 5 minutes. You track your shit out a day in advance. All you do is execute then. You wake up ready to execute. Okay, that's the best thing you can do for yourself, period, is do it, in advance and not be the person that forgets to track in the moment. Just to nix that. Don't even worry about that.
Yeah, and it's not like your phone's not in your hand 24/7 anyway, most of us. So it's like, it literally takes 5 minutes. Just fucking take 5 minutes away from your threads, your Instagram, your Facebook, and just fucking do your food. Like, in fact, I have a rule for some of my clients. In fact, I had to do this to one of my prep clients because she would like blast her life on Instagram, but then like she wasn't logging her food. She'd be like going over and under. And I was like, girl, I'm telling you right now as your coach, you are not allowed to go on Instagram and post anything until you track your food for the day. And guess what? Hey, it worked.
Boom. See, it does work. It works every time. And you will get results if you do it. So do that shit.
Do it. All right. The last one is not sticking to the 80-20 rule. Now, we are all about flexible dieting within an 80-20 ratio, in the fact where we want 80% of our foods to be more of the cleaner, single ingredient, cleaner in quotes, foods that are going to make you feel good. Because yes, you can lose weight if you eat at a gas station every single day, depending if that all fits your macros, but you're going to feel like absolute shit by the end of it. Eating these foods that are less processed, better for you, are going to keep you feeling good for longer. They're going to keep you fuller, because a lot of these 20% foods are hyper palatable, super easy to eat a lot of. So, we have like 1 or 2 Oreos, a serving size of Oreos. We've gone over a lot of times. For double stuff, which who gets anything but double stuff, if we're being honest, is 2 cookies. So, if you are fitting if you want to eat all your fats and carbs as Oreos, that's only going to be, depending on your goals. Like, let's actually calculate this shit out. For prep me, that would have been like 8 Oreos would have been like all my carbs and fats for the day. Like, obviously that's not a good way to spend your calories. And you can kind of, think of your calories as a bank account that you have. Like, you have a certain amount of money to spend. You don't want to be going and when we're dieting or trying to lose weight, we are on a budget, right? We are thinking of ourselves in a deficit. So if you are on a budget money wise, you're not going to go out and buy, you know, a Louis Vuitton purse because, you know, that's not going to fit in your budget more than likely. You're probably going to go to Ross and get whatever off the rack knockoff for like 15, 20 bucks instead of paying $2,000 for a tiny little purse. And that's the same thing when it comes to the foods. You want to be making choices that are going to make you feel full. And when you pick from that 80% list, those are going to help you feel more full. They're going to make you feel more energetic. There's good shit in there, micronutrients that you need to live on a daily basis. Instead of fucking drinking your greens in a powder and paying $70 for that shit, you can get all the micronutrients. That's a whole nother episode from eating a balanced diet, which you can achieve in the 80%. So like when a lot of people hear flexible dieting, they just think we're eating Twinkies all day, but we're not. You know, we're fitting some awesome stuff in our diet. Don't get me wrong, but most of it is the cleaner stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't even feel like I have anything to say because you just wrote the book on that. But yeah, the key is, you know, hitting that threshold allows the balance. I mean, that's the thing. And everybody wants to go one way or another. There's so many different perspectives on dieting. There's a lot of people that are, you know, in our space that say absolutely no, never eat an M&M again. It has 783 different dyes in it, and it will kill you and give you cancer, 40. And then your cancer will get cancer, and you will die again after the M&M kills you. It will resurrect you and then kill you one more time. It's shit like that. And then there's the total opposite, you know, where there's basically people lying for views and shit like that and trying to sell you programs where they're like, no, you can eat only pizza and you'll lose weight. No worries. I mean, let's go. Let's do it. I'll show you how to do it. $809, you know, every day for the next month. Give me your credit card, that kind of thing. So,
well, yeah, you did a challenge, didn't you? Like you ate a donut every day for 30 days and you ended up losing weight. But how badly did that donut cut into your deficit at that time? Because I know you were in a pretty hard deficit at that point. Yeah. Or no?
Yeah. That was so long ago. I barely remember that. That was to prove, but I wasn't selling anything, right? I was just proving.
Right. No,
I wasn't selling like, hey, here's the donut diet.
Oh yeah, but no, you proved a point. But I'm sure that sucked to a degree, right? It's like fuck.
Yeah, no,
it does. It's 50 grams.
You couldn't do it for life. I mean, like after about a week of that, a donut does not look like a donut anymore. Now it looks like your worst enemy. It's like, oh no, here it is again. Look at it, and then you know like how donuts smell, where they're all like fried and they smell like you can start to smell just the fat on them. Which sounds good to some people listening. I'm sure that, oh, yeah. After about the 7 days of that, you start seeing that. Now you're like, what? You know, it's almost repulsing. It's like, what the hell was this fried in? It smells like chicken. I don't know, because, you know, it starts messing with your head at that point. So, yeah, that was not fun.
Just want to wrap it in some lettuce to eat it.
Yeah, lettuce wrapped donut. That's going to be the next diet craze. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's about balance, you know, and if you can balance it, you'll be consistent more often, and that means you will win. And we do this type of balance for even like some people that have to have the most advanced physiques ever, competitors, things like that. Everyday people, very easy to do 80-20 and balance that and have a good threshold of enjoying your life and also enjoying what you're eating and also getting great results. So,
yeah, much shit. We were like 2 weeks out from my national show, and I was allowed to eat cake. And have a freaking teriyaki chicken, which I did not probably log that right. It's probably like way more sugar, but hey, it was a repeat day. But yeah, balance trumps all. And I know some of these, you know, maybe you made them, maybe you haven't made them. If you haven't made any of these mistakes, you need to comment because I need to fly to you and shake your hand. Because clearly you are a wizard of some sort, or you practice witchcraft or something. I will.
She will do it.
Just kidding. Oh, but anyway, I think that's everything. I mean,
I think we got it. Yep.
Cool.
No, aside from if you need help with your macros or anything else, go to the Macro Queen. Okay, she's taking clients right now. I think. I don't know. By the time you hear,
just a few, probably like 2 or 3.
We still got other coaches, we got all kinds of people. We do this shit all day, every day. If you want to win on stage or in life, hit us up, motherfuckers. Let's go.
Yeah.
And make sure you
Free call,
subscribe.
bitch!
And I'll let Kayleen give us some more PC sign out because I can't, I'm a sailor.
I forgot what I just said, something about being a bitch. But yeah. Okay, well, we'll catch you. Hey, hold on. Before we go, let me get it. When should we do this again? A week? 2 weeks?
You're asking me?
Yes.
So
we can let the people know. Next week?
Next week. Yep, but I think they don't trust us anymore.
I know. I swear to God, guys, my kid's back in school. My life is together. We will get this next week. So drop in the comments what you want to hear. And until next time, we shall see you later.
Later.